If you spend enough time on high-rise projects, you can easily recognize the atmosphere of a big concrete placement. It's the heavy scent of diesel mixed with the smell of wet concrete. On those days, noise is constant. Today, I'm going to show you how to move past your limitations of growth using a replacement rule. I will give you a strategy to make yourself less required for daily tasks, so you can move yourself into the position of leadership you were built for. This is about moving from daily coordination to a high-leverage position. I remember standing on a deck as a project engineer, managing the coordination of the building facade. I was the one checking every markup, and it felt like if I didn't show up, the project could be delayed. Maybe you are in that spot right now. You are the person that everyone looks to when the plans get complicated. You are the person who knows the details that are not obvious and right in front of the team. These are the things that require work to find and understand. You might think that being required for every detail is powerful, but you are really just limiting your career. If you are the only one who can manage all the project details, then it makes it hard for you to take on more responsibility. While your performance will always be valued, you don't want to be the only one managing all the daily coordination when you have a team to work with. You want to show that you are focused on leading rather than just managing tasks. The construction industry often relies on the person who knows every detail. We value the person who knows the location of every bolt and works longer hours than anyone else. We can often think that holding on to information is some type of job security, but that way of thinking is what keeps talented people in the same role for years. I want to give you a quick way to see if you are in this position right now. If you are the only person that can answer a question from an architect, or if you feel like you cannot leave the site at any time without an issue arising, you have become the bottleneck. You are slowing down the progress of the team. I have seen this show up in two different ways. First, there is the intentional holding of information. I once worked with a senior superintendent. He had been in the industry for a long time, and he had his own way of doing things. He would walk out onto the deck and start coordinating trades based on his memory and expertise, rather than what was previously coordinated. It created a lot of friction because he did not explain his logic or his plan to the rest of the team. He was successful at getting the building built, but he was not succeeding at leading the team, because it would be hard to manage if he wasn't around for an afternoon. He maintained his position by keeping everyone else uninformed. Then there is the position of others relying too much on you. I felt this way when I realized my supervisor was using me to avoid doing his own work. Because he did not put in the time to study the drawings for himself, he asked me everything. He came to my desk many times a day, asking me questions that he could have found the answer to if he just looked at the documents. This was an inefficient use of my time. It occupied my thoughts and took away my energy. I felt like I was managing all of his tasks as well as mine, but I realized that I was part of the problem. By being the person who always had the answers, I was making it easy for him to avoid the details. Whether you are holding on to power or just letting others rely on you too much, you are stuck in the cycle of reacting to problems. Every time you provide the answer, instead of teaching your team to find the answer for themselves, you are reinforcing your own career ceiling. This signals that you are spending all of your capacity managing the work rather than enabling your team to handle those details. I want you to be honest with yourself. Does being that person that everyone relies on feel like a benefit or a burden? What is one task you find yourself doing repeatedly that you know someone else on your team could handle if they were trained? Let me know in the comments, because I want to hear how this culture of limiting information is showing up on other projects. The path out of this is a replacement rule. Your job is not always building the building. Part of your job is developing your replacement. This requires a strategy of developing others to grow your role. When you are no longer the one who is solving all the daily problems, you can focus on long-term project health. I remember the first time I applied this to an edge of slab plan review. In the world of facades, the edge of slab determines everything. If the concrete does not stop in the correct location, then the facade systems cannot be aligned or installed or sealed properly. It was a coordination task with a small margin of error. I was concerned about handing this review to a project engineer because I knew the impact of a mistake. I also knew that I could do it faster myself, but if I didn't teach him, I would be doing his job for the next 2 years. First, I had him watch me perform a review and explain the reason behind every markup. I showed him how to cross-reference the architectural drawings versus the facade system drawings and the structural drawings. Second, I watched him perform a review, and he missed some things. He missed some key dimensions where the window wall bypasses the slab, and my immediate instinct was to fix it. But here is the key to letting go without losing quality. You need a safety net. I established review milestones. I told him he needed to finish the review by a certain time, and at the end of the day, I would only spend time reviewing the critical transitions. I was not doing the work, but I was verifying the quality of his review. The even bigger win came later. Because he had done the reviews, he was very familiar with the requirements on the dimensions. When the concrete subcontractor was setting the formwork on the deck, he was able to catch mistakes in the formwork before the concrete was placed. He saved the project from expensive field remediation. This allowed me to stop worrying about that scope. I had developed someone to manage that task, and in doing so, I had grown my own role. To make this work, you need total transparency. Use a simple approach when you hand over a task. Explain to the person that you are walking them through the process so that they can now be responsible for this area of the project. This changes the dynamic from giving them more work to do to giving them an opportunity to grow. And here is how you signal this to your leadership. In your next coordination meeting, when the architect asks a question about that specific task, do not answer it. Step back and let your project engineer answer it. This shows the owner and your boss that your team is running the details and you are managing the project. That creates a clear path for your next career step. I believe that we are called to be responsible for the growth of the people we work with. Mentorship is not just a career strategy, it's a form of service. When I help a PE or APM build their skills, I am contributing to their personal success. I am treating my work as a way to build others up, and that gives me a greater sense of purpose that goes beyond just a paycheck. This system also protects my thoughts and focus. I need quiet time to be at my best. If I am the only person that can solve every problem on the job site, then my phone never stops ringing. That constant state of reacting to others is exhausting, and it makes it difficult for me to focus on my most important priorities. When I have developed my replacement, I can be much more effective. My mind is quieter in the evening, and I am able to be present at home. I am not mentally rereading shop drawings or anticipating a call about an issue on site. I have more energy to give to my home life because the project is not competing with my attention while I'm away. Developing your replacement is how you gain clarity and move the project from survival to excellence. It allows you to focus on the few things that truly matter to the project's success and your own development. I want to challenge you this week to identify one task and to start the process of teaching it to someone else on your team. Set up a safety net so you can trust their work and then take a step back in the next meeting and let them lead. Developing others to handle your current responsibilities is a much more effective way to become essential for higher level leadership. It is time to move past the daily details and focus on your broader impact. This is how you reclaim your focus and your mental space. If you want to understand the foundations of what makes this kind of delegation possible, you should watch my previous video on why your availability is holding you back. In that video, I talk about how to shift your focus from constant reaction to building a system that functions without your constant presence. A replacement rule is how you act, but shifting your mindset from being the most available person on site is how you stay consistent. Start with one task today, and I will see you on the next one.